Hello again, class. It's Senior Bishop back again with another video. So like I said before, whoever answered the most amount of questions will be getting a shout out. Congratulations to Mr. Bubba McDonald's. Unique name, but great job. So today, I'll be going over fractions and decimals, what they really are. Right now, I'm recapping everything that you learned from 6th grade, or that you're gonna learn in 6th grade for 5th graders, okay? So, a fraction. I taught you what a fraction looks like yesterday, right? 1 over 2. 1 over 2. You get me? Then there's a decimal. Okay, so a decimal, you would put 0.2. The point is the decimal point. Like, I'll give you a place value chart later. And then this is basically the only way for decimals, okay? So, remember, this is how fractions and decimals look like, okay? So this is basically a place value chart for how a decimal should be made, because they will be trying to trick you on how the decimal is formed. Like, they'll trick you with how it sounds as a word compared to what it's written as a number, right? So let me give an example. 32.4. Let's break that down. 30 plus 2 plus 0.4. Where would 30 go? 30 would go in the tens place. Okay, so 32. 2, where do you think that would go? 2 would go in the ones place, right? The decimal point, that's pretty self-explanatory. It goes in the decimal spot. Now tenths. Remember, tenths. It's like a tenth of something. 4/10 of a whole. That's what tenths is. No, that's what tenths are. So 32.4. That would be read as 30 tens, 2 ones, and 4/10. Now, I'll be showing how to write a fraction. So a fraction is just division. Numerator. So that would be the numerator. Denominator is at the bottom. So that 2, it would be the denominator. So numerator, denominator. This line means divided by. This fraction, read as a division sentence, would be 1 divided by 2. And we could go a step further. 1 divided by 2. Wait. We could go a step further. 1 divided by 2, as we learned yesterday. If it can't go in, put a 0. Or an X, however you like it. I put 0 and an X. So then you add your decimal point, because these are less than wholes now. It's seeing how much decimals can go into this whole. How many decimals of 2 can go into 1, if that makes sense. So 1 divided by 2 is equal to 0.5. And like we said yesterday, I can justify my work. 0.5 times 2 equals. So like I said before, yesterday, you ignore the decimal and place value right now. So you would do 5 times 2. That's 10. Now, you see this 0, right? And 0.1. That means this is 5/10. We're going to have to regulate that so that the product is also proportionate to what we're doing here. So that we're not just doing it as in these are 2 wholes. This is a tenth. 5/10. Okay? So bring the invisible decimal point forward. 1.0 is equals to 1. All right? So we've checked that. It's correct. Now, we also know that fractions are interchangeable with decimal points, right? So I'll write a random fraction over 1. Okay, this is my random fraction. 6 over 15. 6 is a numerator. 15, denominator. All right? So could someone tell me how you write 6 over 15 as a decimal? Even if it's too hard, just give your best guess. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's do this together now. We know what the bar in between is. That's division. So you divide numerator by denominator. So 6 divided by 15. Okay? So 15 cannot go into 6. So we add a 0 here. Add a decimal point. How many times can 15 go into 60? 3, 2, 1. If your answer was 4, then you'd be correct. So our quotient ends up being 0.4. 6 over 15 and 0.4 are equivalent. It might not seem so, but these two are the same value. Doesn't matter how they look. Because if they break down to be the same thing, they indeed are the same thing. You feel me? So let me just erase all of this. Now that we know what a decimal and what a fraction is, I'll be asking, what does the fraction convert into? Okay? And what does the decimal convert into as a fraction? Let me give you guys a quick lesson right now. If the numerator is bigger than the denominator on this one, like on this one, that is called an irregular fraction, where the numerator cannot be contained by the denominator, and it exceeds the limiter of the denominator. So, since 6 is greater than 5, we would know, since the numerator is greater than the denominator, that's an irregular fraction. Now let's get started on these questions. 3 over 5, or 3 divided by 5. What is that equal to as a decimal? If your answer was 0.6, you'd be correct. What is the decimal 0.8 equal to as a fraction? I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. If your answer was 4 over 5, you'd be correct. Now, what does the decimal 9.2 equal as a fraction? If your answer was 9 and 1 over 5, you'd be correct. Now, if you're wondering, why is there bigger? Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise. Why is there a bigger number next to the fraction? So that actually is called a mixed number, where there's a fraction and a whole number. So it leads to having greater possibilities. And a way to turn it back into an irregular fraction like 6 over 5, you do MAD method. MAD. Multiplication, addition, and division. So just take a quick look at this before I erase it. The way that would look like is you rewrite it. 1 over 5. 9 wholes and 1 over 5, right? So multiplication, first step, you do the denominator, bottom number, multiplied by the whole number right next to it. So what do you think 5 times 9 is? That is 45. Now you add 45 by the numerator, which would be 1. 45 plus 1 is 46. Now the division part comes when you're remaking the division bar that's located inside a fraction. You remake it and then add the denominator once again. Remember, always add the denominator. That's what the division part is. So 46 over 5. Right? That's what that would be. Now for the next question. 3.4 as a fraction. Please tell me. 3, 2, 1. If your answer was 3 and 2/5 or 17 over 5, then you would be correct. Now 2 over 8 or 2 divided by 8, what would that be as a decimal? You go here and divide. 2 divided by 8. 0. Cannot enter the 2, right? Cannot. So you put a decimal point. Now we're going into tenths. Can 8 go into 20 an even amount of times? 3, 2, 1. That would be no. It goes in 2 times. 8 times 2, 16, right? So then you subtract, right? 20 minus 16, 6. 0 minus 6, you cannot do that. So you add a 10 value, take out one of those. Now 1 minus 1, that's 0. 10 minus 6, that's 4. 0, 4 is equal to 4. Bring down another 0. Okay. So now, how many times can 8 go into 40? Is it even or not even? 3, 2, 1. If you said 5 times, you'd be correct. 8 times 5 is 40. So 2 over 8 is equivalent to 0.25 or 25 hundredths as a decimal. I'll explain what a hundredth is right now. Okay, so that's a 10. The ones place, where would we find the ones place? The 0 is the one place. Add that. Now the decimal, all right? The 10th place, that's the place we know. It's the one that comes after the decimal. Do not confuse it with the tens place. If you're going to the right of 0, it'll always be a lower number. But if you're going to the left, you're increasing with value, not decreasing. So 2 tenths, we add that over here. Now, the one that comes after tenths is hundredths, not hundreds, hundredths. It has a TH because 100 hundredths is equal to 0, if that makes sense. Because each hundredth is 1 over 100, right? So that would mean 100 of these is equal to one whole number. Okay? So this 5 is 100th. Now that would be read as 0.25, 0.25, or 25 hundredths. 6 divided by 5. Can 5 go into 6? Okay, it can. One time. 6 minus 5. 1. Bring a 0. put your decimal point. I'm going to start doing this faster because you should be catching up with me now. So 5 can evenly go into 10 two times. So that would be 5 times 2, 2 tenths. You get me? Okay. So 1.2, 1 and 2 tenths. 6 over 5 is equal to 1 and 2 tenths, or 1.2. Okay. Now, the hard one. Can anybody tell me what that equals in the comments? 2 over 3? So now that we know what fractions and decimals are, we can start getting to good stuff.